United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You just remain standing while Reverend Holmes gives our invocation, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving us the blessings that make this city the great city that it is. We ask you to bless those who work in the city departments, that their work may continue to keep it strong. We thank you for the blessings of our police and fire departments as they work so hard to keep our lives safe. All the others who put in their time and place, all have been doing so to make this city the great place that it is. Lord, we ask you to be with the meeting that discusses the business of this city, so that the wisdom that we need makes decisions that are the right ones. Help us as citizens of this community to do our part in keeping this city going smoothly and strong, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. May I ask the clerk to take the roll, please?
Yeah, but real quick, Mayor, if I may, I just want to let people know I'm not being disrespectful with my clothing. I had a minor surgery today, so people shouldn't come in sweatshirts and workout pants to a cup, but I just couldn't move my arm much to get anything else on, so thank you. And with that, I'll do the roll. Councilman Templin.
Present.
Councilman Cisco.
Present.
Councilman DiGiulio.
Here.
Councilwoman Gabarecki.
Present.
Councilman Rourke.
Here.
Madam Pro Tem McLeod.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong is asked to be excused. Mayor Mategas.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Ask for a motion for approval of the agenda for
Motion.
tonight's meeting.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Cisco, supported by Councilman Templin.
And separate claims and accounts there, Mayor.
Ask without objection, we will separate claims and accounts from the consent agenda, which will make just one item, the payroll report. I would just like to make one announcement right after the approval of minutes for the Allen Park Historical Commission, if I could. Any other statements or changes to be made? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. Approval of the minutes for October 10th, 2017.
Motion.
Councilwoman Gabarecki is moved. Councilman Rourke is supported. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Scott O'Reilly, Chairman of the Historical Commission, asked if I could just make the announcement. November 17th is, hopefully everyone knows, will be the city's Christmas parade. And the Historical Commission that night at 6 p.m. will be hosting a city tree lighting at the Allen Park Museum. For those who don't know, that's the corner of Englewood and Park across from Angelica Lutheran Church on that side of Park Avenue. They'll have hot chocolate and cookies, and they'll also have space for your cars so you can watch the lighted parade, which really starts right about there. So we'll add to that evening. So hopefully some of you can come and you can go through the museum and enjoy the parade. So with that, I will go to the city's administrative reports.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents, students. Last week I made contact with our interim DT Energy Government Affairs Manager regarding the need for an asphalt repair on Allen Road near Belmont Avenue. She advised that weather permitting, that paving should take place at the end of the month. I mentioned interim because Madeline Williams was who I normally would send that to, and I got a note back that she was not available, and I believe she may be off on a slight medical issue there. So hopefully, if that is the case, she'll get back for a speedy recovery and get back to helping us out. She's a very tremendous woman and very supportive of Allen Park and the downriver area. For the street improvement millage, the contractor has finished the work on both Horger Avenue and Belfour Avenue. If there's anything minor out there, they'll be getting another punch list together for the springtime and get those all wrapped up. For street sectioning, the contractor has finished a large section of Beverly Avenue between Gahona and Shenandoah, just across the street. A very rough section. I think we mentioned before that I think Ford did some testing on that road for their vehicles. They're also working on a large section of May Avenue near the library. I did get a phone call from the librarian, said the walls were shaking. I said just temporarily. This is a need, definitely a need to be repaired there. Also doing Norway Street just as you enter off of Allen Road, and some parking areas off Champaign Road between Vine Avenue and Rosedale Boulevard, and some parking areas off of Park Avenue between Leslie Avenue and Inglewood Avenue, as well as some small sections over on Federal Drive up in the north, far north end. For the CDBG improvement, the work areas on Roger have been marked out, and the contractor should be starting by the end of this week. Pavement striping project on Ecorse Road should also be starting by the end of this week. They've been delayed with some weather. I'm a little concerned that they may still be delayed with some weather, but we're told by the end of this week they should be starting. And then our new sewer gap vac truck was delivered on Monday, October 16th, and Director Murray has brought that in and parked in the parking lot for anyone interested in looking at it. Are we back? I think we're going to be just on the other side of the up the hill. It doesn't have a lot of lights and bells and whistles, but if in need, it will be there to service, and hopefully nobody needs that service, because if he's out and about with that truck, nothing good is happening. The DPS and Liquid Force will start aligning some sewer line sections in December, and that'll last throughout January. As we get into that project, we'll be able to tell you the streets and areas, and the DPS through Liquid Force, they notify the residents of what's that their area is going to be affected and so forth. The water main lining on Lead Street will start as soon as the contractor receives the MDEQ permit. And again, project is scheduled to complete by the end of November. The roof at the 24th District Court is now complete. I talked to Don and everything, we're wrapped up on that. So I think they're now dry inside. The Inside Out program, just a couple more weeks. I think we're looking maybe another week, Jennifer, one more week or so. And that is the Detroit Institute of Art having various art pieces throughout the DDA district. I think there's 12 total. If you haven't gotten the chance to get out there and look at them, time is running out, so make sure you do that. The Parks and Recreation Department will be presenting the rededication ceremony of the Allen Park Sports Hall of Fame at the Allen Park Community Center on October 30th. That is next Monday at 7 o'clock. And I believe there may be some handouts for the first 300 people or so. So if you get a chance, get there early and have a souvenir. And although the high school football teams have completed their seasons, Councilman Cisco will tell you, I was rooting for Allen Park. I was rooting. I thought there was a chance of a playoff. Unfortunately, Redford Thurston, I think, took out New Boston Huron, and that was the deciding factor there. But I was rooting there, and I want to go off the chart here. Everybody up here has got this, so they're reading it. But I didn't get a chance to mention there was a few weeks ago, September 12th, I believe it was. The Trenton High School does Victory Day, and I don't miss Michigan games very often, and I had to miss Michigan games because it was Matthew's senior year, and I wanted to be there for this. And Victory Day is where they bring in all the special needs kids from various. I think it's from the Wyandotte schools, Joe Brighton and Lincoln Center, and I was very proud to look over, and I seen some green jerseys of about half dozen to a dozen young men from Allen Park High School that are participating in that program. I believe there might have been some cheerleaders as well. And to see the faces of these young men and women, the special needs kids, that they get a chance to run a touchdown. And Pat Hawkins does the announcing, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here. But to see the excitement in these kids was just phenomenal. And I'm glad I missed the game. It was well worth it. One little girl, she's running down. They make a tunnel, and the kids are high-fiving and all this stuff. And she's doing cartwheels down there. It was phenomenal. If you get a chance, it's usually the second weekend in September. Make sure you get out to Trenton High School and support these young kids as they do the Victory Day, and support our young athletes as they're out there being part of that program as well. And I know it was very moving for all those kids as well. And I know it was very moving for the adults as well. So, sorry, I digress. But we do have some playoff football here anyways, even though our high school teams did not go on. The Allen Park Bulldogs are heading into their final week of their regular season against Taylor. The freshman team record is a 6 wins and 1 loss. Junior varsity also has a 6-1 record, and the varsity team is undefeated at 7-0. And they are all going to be extending their season a little bit longer in the Downriver Junior Football League playoffs. So we wish the Bulldogs good luck as they move forth in the playoffs. Plant Moran is on site, and they're conducting the annual city audit. If you, for council, if you come in, they're in the office. I think they may have already left tonight, but they are here causing some headaches for Bob and Amanda as they need a little bit of documentation here and there. But we have everything. We should be good, and I think they're going to be about another week or two. They'll be wrapped up, and then we'll be getting back to mayor and council to schedule the meeting for the audits and have that presentation. There'll be a planning commission public hearing regarding the development of the old city hall property on Thursday, November 2nd at 7 o'clock. I know that they are proposing a retail, and I believe they may also have a hotel as well being proposed on the part of the site as well. Veterans Day Memorial Ceremony will be held on Saturday, November 11th at noon at Champaign Park. And after the ceremony, the Post 409 Club Room will have lunch and snacks if you can make it over there and support our veterans on Veterans Day. As the mayor mentioned earlier, lighted Christmas parade Friday, November 17th, and with a new addition, like the mayor mentioned, about the tree lighting at the historical home. And then for an update on the City Hall and Police Department project, demolition of the front exterior facade wall is complete, and today they were pouring the footings for the front addition. The plumbing for the detention area is now complete as well. The contractor will soon be pouring the concrete floor in that area. If you went in there before, it was just a maze of piping for all the plumbing and the electrical. So they are now getting those floors put back together so they can continue on. Last week they did pour the new floors over the electrical conduit and plumbing on the City Hall side of the building, and a good portion of the new metal stud interior walls on the City Hall side have been constructed, and they're also in the process of building a number of the concrete block walls. I do know that the vault was already built, and I think they were working on the armory for the police department, as well as the block walls around for the evidence room as well in the police department. So they're making pretty good progress. I think probably by the time we meet next council meeting, we may actually see some front structure going up in front of the building there. So hopefully that'll be occurring there. But it's very exciting to go over there, and we go in there once a week after our weekly meeting, and just to see the change every week. If anybody's ever done any construction project at home, it's the same thing, just on a more massive scale. So. And I'm going to work on, they're posting some pictures for us through the JSVIG site, and once I have those, I'll get them posted up to the city Facebook page so everybody can kind of see what's going on interior-wise as well. Oh, and forgive me, one more second. Back a couple weeks ago, I had an opportunity to go to the Eastern Michigan University School of Police Staff and Command graduation with Chief Wilkowitz. Two of our lieutenants graduated. That was Lieutenant Jim Soden, who is just walking by the outside door right now, and Lieutenant Chris Egan. And a very powerful presentation by one of our residents, and that was a former Detroit Police Department Assistant Chief Steve Dolant. Did an excellent job as the keynote speaker, and very moving to hear some of the stories of these individuals that have put a lot of time and effort into this program. It's 9 months, 1 week a month, basically master level work that they have to do. 50 students graduated. It was very phenomenal. We're fortunate with Lieutenant Egan and Lieutenant Soden graduating. We've also had, going through the program, Deputy Chief Ed Can from the Fire Department. I believe Chief Doug LaFon went through that program as well. I believe also Detective Lieutenant Dave Williams went through the program, and Chief Wilkowitz went through a similar program under a different name, but the same type of staff and command program. I think it's very important that we continue with these great educational opportunities, and I think it'll help make our department stronger as we go forth. I'm done now.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any questions for City Administrator?
Couple, Mayor.
Well, just, there was one hand up faster than yours.
No, go ahead, go ahead. No.
It might be the same
No.
thing.
Age before beauty.
Boy, you got that one wrong.
Councilman
Anyway,
DiGiulio.
what it is here, it's the road repair there on Belmont now, is that big hump that's on the road?
Yeah, I know we'd worked hard, people had worked hard to get Wayne County and that to get that road paved after it was a real rough material for a long time. And then it seemed it only lasted for a short time until DT had to go out and cut it up a little bit. So that is the area. It's right in front of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That big hump there in the road there, heading north. Okay, another question too is, how long did the repairs take to do on the, there we go, wait a minute, we're here. At the 24th District Court, how long did we take to do that replacement? Was it pretty quick?
Yeah, I think they were probably done within 2 weeks.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know our police officers had to take about 3 years of rain pouring in on them, didn't they? So that was where my pun came last time.
We're trying to move in a more positive direction and
Okay,
get
I
things
know,
done like
so.
that, so.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Cisco?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment about the Veterans Day Memorial Ceremony. I'm glad to see that move to the daylight rather than have it at, was it 6 or 6:30 in the evening and usually snowing or raining and you can't see anything. So I think this is a chance for everybody in our community to come out at noon on Saturday, November 11th, and show our respect for all our veterans. And it would really be nice to see a lot of people out there for the new time change. Something that we've talked about for a long time, but not quite up to us to decide when that happens.
Doesn't always fall on a Saturday, too, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Any other questions or council comments? You know, I'd make one. I was curious, and I actually noted it in my day book, about that strip at Belmont going across Allen Road. Last Thursday, I think it was, the county was out and had a truck sitting there, and they were taking pictures of it from about every direction they could think of. So I guess they must have gone to DTE and said, hey, you made a big mess. And they've agreed to come forward and repair it. It is a pretty troublesome problem if you're driving over the speed limit.
No, I don't know what you speak of, so.
If there are no other
Nobody in the
questions,
audience does either. Nobody ever speeds in this audience here.
we'll ask for a motion to accept and file the Council, Mayor Pro Tem McLeod is moved, supported by Councilman DiGiulio. We will go to the claims and accounts and ask for a motion to put that before council.
Public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped by again, excuse me. Got public comments, and on the back of the agendas, there is a statement as the rules. I thought I voted on that.
No, we got a motion, I second.
Okay. I'll ask for the vote on the, a motion for the city's report. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you, Mark. At this time, we have public comments. On the back of our agendas are the rules of decorum. I hope you will observe that, and remember, you have 4 minutes to address the council with your comments or questions. So with that, if you'd come forward, please.
Dennis Hayes Carter. You'll recall, I was here last meeting, I was questioning about the Police and Fire Civil Service Commission. Since then, I've determined that one thing for certain, that Mr. Jonathan Young was not appointed in 2012 as reported by the mayor, but rather in 2013. I also had come to understand that another appointment was made to that same mayoral slot somewhere by somebody, Mr. Sid Alley. I spoke to the man. He claimed it was the mayor. Now, Mike tells me tonight it might have been Joyce Parker. But it just points to the fact that this thing is so entirely messed up that it needs to be audited and examined and determined what's going on. I first brought this to the attention of Mike and City or Councilor Corvair because I was concerned that if you're going to have something that the state legislature took the time to enact, and we as citizens voted on, we had to vote on the enactment of the Police and Fire Civil Service at some point in our history, we ought to do it correctly, accurately, and have good records. And I related the fact that the mayor appointed Brent Hunt in 2012. Brent Hunt later resigned. Then he appointed Jonathan Young, and the council approved that appointment in March of 13. Promptly thereafter, Ms. Parker disbanded the whole thing. So what happened to Young? He never served a meeting, never had a meeting. Then in September of that year, Ms. Parker reconvened the thing, appointed Dave Boomer, which would have been the position that the mayor had already appointed, the council had approved, Jonathan Young. And we pointed out to her, as I pointed out last time, that he was ineligible to serve. Never heard of any other appointment. The question I had is why wasn't Mr. Young reappointed like Mr. Beaton was reappointed? Because she said she reappointed Beaton. She could have equally and similarly reappointed Young, which she did not. Later, again, she disbands it the following year. Now, sometime along the way, Sid Alley got appointed either by the mayor without council awareness or by Ms. Parker without council awareness. Because Sid Alley told me, and Mr. Beaton also told me, that he attempted to convene a meeting of the commission with Sid Alley and with Jonathan Young, for that matter, both of them. But they were both, the commission was extinguished before they ever had a chance to meet to pick a third party. Then Mike, who's reacting quite energetically to this inquiry of mine, I don't know why, it seems almost like a borderline overreaction, frankly, but that's fine. He sent me an email first saying he was never on it. Then he said he may have been on it sometime between April and September of 13. And then tonight he sends me a list that Dorcas had prepared that had a list of Beaton reapplying, this was in May of 13, and 3 other people applying anew, none of whom were Young or Sid Alley. So if you can't understand how fouled up this thing is, then there's no hope for us. I would suggest and urge this council to appoint a special auditor of some sort. Doesn't have to be a paid position. Pick out some reliable, trustworthy citizen and have them audit the records of the clerk's office and the mayor's office or whoever's office has these documents, because until and unless you do that, this is always going to be a problem. And our police and fire, whether I agree with the Police and Civil Service Commissioner in the first place, I don't particularly think it's a good idea, but we voted on it and that's what we have. But these guys are entitled to the due process contained within that document or that statute. So I would urge you, please, appoint somebody, get your heads together and appoint a fair-minded individual in the community to audit this and find out what's going on. Thank you.
Through the chair, I'd like to just publicly say there really is no confusion. We did audit our records. And I know you don't like the term dates. Those bother you, Mr. Hayes.
No, it has nothing to do with it.
But I have exactly. And I think you said it key when you said the EM. Remember, none of us control the EM. I had no record of Sid Alley because the EM just did it. That's how it worked. You were on council when she was here. You should be more enlightened than most people in this room about how she did things. There is no confusion. I'd just like to put that to rest. You can audit all you want, but I don't have much. All I could speak for is the council pick. And really, that's it. The rest, like the police and fire, pick the other one, and the other one's neutral. I guess we could go through old minutes, but I just really like to publicly state, I have it all here in black and white, and I could back it up with documents. So really, I don't know what this mass confusion you're referring to.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just have a word.
Please let him, Mayor.
I just want to clarify one thing, please.
You've had your 4 minutes.
If it's so clear, then why did I get 3 separate emails from him, each saying a different thing? That's all clear.
I was just trying, you know what? This is what you get for trying to help someone. I was throwing him every piece of information I could find. He did not FOIA it. I'm doing this on my goodness of my heart. So you don't do what you do best, is cause a ruckus over nothing.
Okay,
I was
let's
trying
move
to
forward.
inform you.
You've stated.
Sorry, I won't be
you've
so
stated
efficient next time, Mr.
There
Hayes.
is no confusion. Mr. Young has been appointed by this council as the city's appointee, and I think his term of office ends 2018.
Yep.
Mr. Beaton will serve until the police and fire either re-elect him to an office or elect a new person to take his office, because he's the only person that was suspended by Ms. Parker. Everybody else at some point got terminated. And unfortunately, Ms. Parker wasn't real good at telling us when she was terminating people. So,
I'm sorry. I got anxious.
Mr. Lloyd,
First of all,
You get extra.
I'm really tired of hearing about Ms. Parker at this point. My understanding is we were relieved from state control, was it December, I believe, last year? February. And her orders remain in effect for 1 year. Now, if I'm mistaken, please somebody correct me. As far as I'm concerned, we've returned to local control. And as far as I'm concerned, local control means we are bound by the charter of our city. And the charter of our city leaves it to the mayor to make referrals for appointments and the council to vote by majority to confirm them. I am not going to, everybody knows, I made it clear. I made it clear over and over again how upset I was about state control and the fact that we lost local control, we lost our votes, we lost our ability to take control of our own government. And it's time we retake that control. So I don't want to hear about Ms. Parker again. I don't want to hear about RTAB again. I want to hear about what the people of Allen Park want. I want to hear about the city charter of Allen Park. I want to hear about the mayor's referrals, the council's approval through majority vote. And I don't understand why there is even a question to that. Now, if we have to wait a few more months until these orders disappear, so be it. But I think the people of Allen Park are the best people to decide how we want our city to be run. And you guys were all elected to do that. And I have full confidence in you guys in making the right decisions. I guess that's all I have to say about that. There.
Mark Bailey, Philomene, I just wanted to invite everybody down to Park Avenue for the 29th year sometime in the near future. Off the record, it was summer last week and now the weather is cooperating. Thank you very much and enjoy the show. Thank you.
in case people don't understand that, Mark Bailey sponsors and works very hard with the Elks to put on the Halloween party there between Philomene and White, and it will be there again on next Tuesday night.
And through the chair, if I might add, high schoolers, he's looking for volunteers. So if you could volunteer at all for the pumpkin patch, go by McNally's Shoes and let Mark know. He needs it for the day of, and I think Sunday to collect pumpkins, but please give him a call or get a hold of him, McNally's Shoes. It's a great program.
Is there any other citizens who wish to come forward at this time? Seeing none, we'll move to the claims and accounts. Could I have a motion to put claims and accounts before?
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DeGiulio has moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Cisco has supported. Councilman DeGiulio, your questions?
Yes, I have one here on labor attorneys, Seacrest, Wardle, and Lynch, et cetera. And it says 2017 retirement health care program, I guess, or something. $18,925. What is that about?
That is the retirees lawsuit against the city for when the person that can't mention anymore, according to Mr. Lloyd, changed their health care. So that when the emergency manager was here, she changed the health care, and that was the lawsuit that resulted from that. I apologize.
You did a good job
That didn't last
trying.
very long.
You tried.
If I'm not mistaken with my figures, the city has now spent close to $270,000 on this lawsuit that was brought on by the retirees of our city. Am I about right?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably say somewhere in the range of 240, yeah, 260, 265, somewhere in that range.
265,000. Thank you.
Any other questions by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The consent agenda consists of the payroll report. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Councilwoman Gawarecki has moved. Councilman Templin has supported. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. The resolution to put before the council the purchase of a large truck hoist from Gray Manufacturing at a cost of $55,800. And bypass the city bid process, no economic advantage since using by board a national purchasing program. So that would be the resolution. Am I correct, Mr. Clerk?
Motion.
Moved by Councilwoman Gawarecki and supported by Councilman Rourke. Any discussion?
One here, Mayor. Just
Councilman
how long do we have the old truck hoist?
That's been there since they built the building. I can't tell you how long it's been since we built the building, but a long time.
Long, long time. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? You can just stay for the next
Yeah, I
issue,
was
but
gonna-
we'll call a
I'll
vote
just
on this
stand
one.
here.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. Resolution to purchase a hydrostall screw centrifugal pump model H12K SD for the retention basin through local distributor Du Bois Cooper Associates at a cost of $64,500. Again, no economic advantage since the company is a sole source provider.
Motion.
Councilman Templin has moved, and Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has supported. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are at other business. Who do you want to go first? Sure. Councilman Templin.
Just like to thank everybody for being here tonight and have a happy and safe Halloween. And trick-or-treating times, I mean, is not set by any ordinance, but it's recommended, and I know it was posted on the city website through the police department that they asked for 5:30 to 8 o'clock for trick-or-treating. Everybody have a good night.
Councilman DeGiulio.
Well, it is good to see so many students here tonight. I don't know how many will go trick-or-treating, but maybe. Anyway, I got to tell you about Mr. Lloyd. He didn't know it, but he actually, my wife was shopping at Walgreens, and she had a basket full of stuff, and she had just had knee surgery. And, you know, he didn't know who she was, and he picked up all of her items and brought them to the car for her. So I think he needs a hand of applause for that. Where did,
Please.
anyway, okay. And to go on Monday, October 16th, at approximately 5:30 PM, again at Walgreens, I heard a crash as I was approaching the E-course and Pelham Road there. And thankfully, this time it wasn't my daughter involved in it. When I ran out the last time, she was involved. But anyway, By the time I called 911 and they asked if the airbags had deployed, and I told them all I could see was the side airbags and that they had deployed. And by the time I walked back out there, which wasn't, it felt like seconds, but it might have been a couple of minutes, we had 3 police cars, 2 ambulances and one fire truck. I mean, it's hard to believe that. I mean, they were there just in seconds. They were on the job. They were in their duty. So I want to commend them for that, really. That was a great thing to see. And also, I got to say something for Tom Murray, Matt Doring, Mr. Boomer, Bob Cady, and Mark Kibbe, and Mark Deal with Buselli. I see these guys all over the city. I travel a lot, either in my little wheeled cart. People probably laugh at me when I drive it, but anyway, I drive that around the city on the sidewalks. And I drive a car around the city too, and these guys seem to be all over the place doing their job. I'm amazed at them. I am really amazed that, I don't know why I should be amazed. I mean, they're all good guys. They should be doing it. But they are. They're all over the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod.
Just a few things. I got a letter, had no idea why, but I want to give a shout out to Ms. Lori Mascarello, who sent me a letter following the last council meeting wherein somebody had asked about the new Pink Diamond building, and we talked about what was in there before. Well, I have to tell you that Ms. Mascarello is a virtual fountain of history here, because she recalled and wanted me to know that even before Debbie's was in that location, there was a pharmacy there at one time, and she recounted how she ran across that, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But she said, she apologized because she said her printer had broken down, but she took the time to write a 2-page letter, and I wanted to let her know how much I appreciated that. The other one, we seem to be on a real roll here lately. I don't know if everyone's aware, but anyone who is on Facebook and follows the Allen Parker should know that the administrator for that longtime Allen Park resident and a major supporter of this city and everything in this city passed away on Friday. That was Shirley Swartout Potts, who apparently, unbeknownst to many of us, battled colon cancer for 9 years. And her daughter posted that she started the Allen Parker Facebook page when she first came down with the disease. I did not know her that well. I told her husband this evening that one of my biggest regrets was that I have in my inbox email from her, said I owe you a coffee and we were going to get together and just chat about things. And I have very few regrets in my life, but that is going to be one of them. She loved this city. Many, many people who knew her and worked with her will attest to that, and they know her far better than I do. For some reason, I feel a terrible loss, and I wish that you would all keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers, and pray for everyone who is battling any kind of disease or hardship. These are tough times. Again, I ask that you look inside yourselves and seek peace and caring and empathy. And thank you all for being here.
Councilwoman Gavricki.
Thank you all for being here tonight. It's nice to see so many students. Mr. Lloyd, thank you for your comments this evening. I hope we move in that direction. Mark, no more.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I would just like to ask everybody, we have a CERT member and a member of the police and fire chaplain, Jerry Williams, is undergoing some really severe medical issues, and if you could just all keep him in your prayers, that would be greatly appreciated. Have a safe Halloween. Enjoy the fun, I guess. And I think we not only have football teams in Allen Park, but we have other sporting events too. And I think there was a boys soccer team that made it to the districts as well, and unfortunately they lost too, but I did hear about that. So congratulations to them for getting that far, and have a good evening.
Okay. Councilman Cisco.
Yeah, it's great to see the students. Is this like why are you all here? Is this a card marking period or something? Is this the last chance? Something's going on. Anyway, I just, Mayor Pro Tem McLeod talked about Shirley Potts, and
Please.
and she was a friend of mine. And Allen Park is not going to be better without her, but with her input, we are better for what she has done. When the Allen Parker, the Facebook page was formed, she wanted to have a positive outlook about comments in Allen Park. And I think she accomplished that, where as a community, we can go to the Allen Parker and ask questions and get things answered in a positive manner and not be so politically motivated as some people are. So she'll be missed, and it's just a tough thing. And she did so much good that I don't have time to even tell everybody about all the good things that she's done, but just to know that she will be missed. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for coming out. It's nice to see all the students here. I think they're probably coming to check on me. I spoke to this group about, I think 2 Mondays ago or something like that, maybe 3 Mondays ago. So I guess they wanted to see that the questions I answered really were what I was doing up here. But it's nice to see them all here. And I do hope everyone has a good Halloween. Those of you that have to be out there driving on the streets that night, really be careful. We've got a lot of little ones running around, and sometimes they forget that not to cross at the corners, but that light's on, and they know they're getting good candy there. They may take a shortcut, so let's be careful. Have a good evening, and I'll ask for a vote to adjourn.
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DiGiulio is moved, supported by Mayor Pro Tem McLeod, and the vote is all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 7:47.